Good morning, everyone. This is your instructor, Dr. Vaughn, and welcome to class. I'm sorry I'm re-recording this video because apparently the sound wasn't working on the first one. So I just wanted to introduce myself, say hello, and walk you through a little bit about the course and help you get off to a great start in college algebra. All right, so this is our homepage. You're probably familiar with it by now. You should always start with the start here and go through some of the welcome video, how to be successful at Baker. There's some other things about how to navigate through the menus in Canvas and so forth if you haven't done that before. But most of the work you're going to do on a regular basis is over here with the announcements, the modules, My Math Lab, and the discussions. Then, of course, you can check your grades. So let's start with the announcements. That's where you found this particular video, of course. And each week, and actually throughout the week, I'll post some things here that are important, and you should always read all of the announcements that I put forward. The modules as well, you'll see the outline for everything you need to do from week to week. And under Module 1, you see that what you have to do this week is getting started with My Math Lab, just kind of familiarizing yourself with the system. You should be reading the material in the textbook and then jumping in and doing homework and your quiz. Of course, then there's the engagement, and I'll talk a little bit more about my engagement expectations in just a minute. So to access the homework, you can just click right through these links, which is different than its way it's been in the past, and also the way that it works at maybe some other institutions as well. So you're going to pull in your My Math Lab work right here into Canvas, which is kind of a nice tool. It is a little slow sometimes, so you got to wait for it to load. And you'll see this in just a minute. It'll pull up and it'll show me all the homeworks that you have to do. Questions? All right, so there we go. You can see I already did question 1, and then I have some other questions to go through over here. So let's say that I've already completed question 1. It's showing me my partial score here. I can just pick up where I left off on question 2. And you can keep working on this unlimited times per question until you get hopefully 100% on the homework. So a thing about Pearson, if you haven't used it before, is that it's very picky about the way in which you enter your answers into the box. So pay particular attention to these comments that are here in blue. Type an integer or a decimal. If you put the answer in as a fraction, it's not going to give you credit. And so this will drive you crazy a little bit until you get used to it. Sometimes you can have the correct answer and you can put it to 1 decimal point and it wanted 2, or you give them 3 decimal points and they wanted 2. So even though you're correct, and even though it would be even rounded to the correct answer, they'll still mark you wrong. I've also seen it where they mark you wrong for using a capital letter X instead of a small letter X, let's say. So if you're getting something wrong, and it'll tell you that you missed that question, you can always go up and try to diagnose exactly what it is. I would also suggest that you look into using these question help features that are up here. Help me solve this will walk you through a version of the question one piece at a time. First do this, then do this, and it has you fill in the boxes for the kind of work along the way and not just typing in the final answer. View an example actually shows you of a complete version of the question, which has been fully worked out with explanation from beginning to end. And one of the things that is overlooked by a lot of people, but I really suggest that you do, is click the textbook. What this will do is open your book in a different window, and it opens it right to the section of the book where this content is contained. So you can have one copy of the ebook in one window on your computer while you're working on the homework in a second window. And finally, the Ask My Instructor. What this does is whether the question is done, you've already finished it, or whether it's still in progress. It'll take a picture of your problem and send it to me. And then you can actually, there's a box, you can type in it your question about it. I'm really stuck of what to do here. Can you help me out? And then I can reply to those emails, and I can actually see where you're at and the way you're trying to enter something or make suggestions based on that. So one of the best ways to be successful is to use these tools and also make sure you do the homework early and on time and work on it throughout the week. Because the number one thing that happens in a math class using Pearson, I've been doing this for a long time, is that if you get behind that first week, then it just snowballs, and it almost never works out. You get a little bit behind, you get a little bit more behind, you get a little bit more behind, and before you know it, it's out of control, and it's too late. So the best way you can stay on top of things is to do your homework ask lots of questions, and be engaged in the class early in the week. Okay, so let's finish off this question just to show you kind of how it works. So the square root of negative 0.09, that's 9/100ths. So the decimal written as a fraction would be 9/100. Square root of 9, of course, is 3. Square root of 100 is 10, so that's 3/10. So my answer here is going to be negative 3/10. But instead of writing it as a fraction, 3/10, I need to write it as a decimal, negative 0.3. Don't forget your order of operations. We're going to do the square root first and then apply the negative outside. Then when I'm done, I think I have the answer right. I'm going to check my answer, and it'll tell me, okay, give you nice work, positive affirmations, and you can go on to the next question. So you notice that up here now it'll give you this overview of where you're at in the homework as soon as it loads. And it'll say, okay, you got question 1, question 2 done. So you can skip around, you can go backwards, you can go forwards, and you want to keep working on this until that percentage, overall percentage up over here is 100%, and you've completed all of the problems by that due date. All right. So then your quizzes are going to be similar. The only thing with the quizzes are that you only have the one attempt at them. And so you need to do it in a fixed period of time and with a timer going. And the questions on them should be similar to the homeworks that you had throughout the week. So a couple more things under modules. I wanted to talk about the discussions and about my engagement expectations. So engagement is worth 25 points. If you look at that, it's almost the same as the quiz for the week. So this is super important that you remain engaged. What does engagement mean? Engagement means that you're actually present, that you're working on the math, you're participating in the conversations. So I see a lot of you have already posted here in the introduce yourself. Good job. And that's one way in which you can demonstrate engagement is by responding to and posting in and contributing in the discussion prompts that I'll put up throughout the week. And I'm going to add another one here this morning. But it's also completing your homework on time. It might be coming to the synchronous session that I'm going to schedule within the next couple of days. Those are all options. You don't have to do you have to do your homework, but it's an option to come to that synchronous meeting. But the more of those kinds of things that you participate in, the more that I can see that you're working on your content, that you're availing yourself of every opportunity to join into the conversations. That's how you're going to demonstrate engagement. So it's not so much Baker went away from a you must post this many times on this many days sort of formula for demonstrating engagement. It's more of a holistic thing. So at the end of the week, I'm going to look at each one of you and say, did this person give their full effort? Were they doing everything that they could throughout the week to remain on top of things, to participate when they had something to say? Or are they just kind of completing their assignments and checking in from time to time on the classroom? All right, so that's how the first week's going to go, and I'll post another one of these in a couple of days, introducing you to the topics for next week. As you can see, this week we're starting off with radicals and decimals and simplifying algebraic expressions. Welcome to College Algebra. My name is Rick Vaughn. If you have any questions, please send me an email, and I look forward to working with you over the course of the next few weeks.